I think they did good with her. Like, she wasn't doing anything over the top. She was doing kicks and punches. Yeah,
She was okay. She was the tiniest one in there, and she's fucking socking Goldust. She's pushing Mark Merrow around. She's manhandling Luna. You kidding me?
So,
She's fucking running around like she's the ultimate warrior, and she's got no definition. She's not athletic. She didn't look like she belonged.
But she was pissed off. You overlooked that fact.
I didn't even believe she was pissed off. Looked like she was trying to pretend to be pissed off. Goldust wrestled the goddamn Undertaker. What the fuck is he getting laid out by this little blonde for? It's not even China. It's offensive.
Maybe 3 pay-per-views ago, they were talking about the Holyfield fight. Not the one that he actually bit his ear off, but the first of their fights, which led to the rematch, which led to the bite.
You goddamn murderer! Undertaker will burn in hell! He'll burn in hell! Well, I think that brings us into a wrestling rewind.
Retro review. WrestleMania 14.
And they did an awesome video package to start the pay-per-view. Really gave you that next chapter feel. They tell you the young rogues are blazing down the trails that were mapped long before them without a care how they were mapped. But they're still chasing the same old belt. And Vince Sr. got a shout out.
Yep.
We go to Boston, Massachusetts. As they cut from the video to the event, we saw the Scratch logo for the first time.
Oh, the Attitude one?
Uh-huh. Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross are on commentary, and they're immediately interrupted by the Nation of Domination's music. And to start off the pay-per-view, we have a 15-team battle royal for a #1 contendership for the tag team titles. And Farouk and Kama Mustafa come out first, and then the LOD 2000 are next. They're accompanied by Sonny, and apparently they're the mystery team. I don't know if this is when Hawk had his drinking problem, but it might be around there. But Sonny, she was there. She was the best part of the match.
She sure was.
Fuck everyone else. They didn't get an entrance. And this just was a battle royal. Kurgan was in it. He was pissed off at Sniper and Recon. And that was Truth Commission or some shit with the Jackal.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know who the hell these people are.
I remember Sniper and Recon because one of them was Bull Buchanan. Jackal had Kurgan turn on them. And I think that's when the oddities were formed. So Kurgan made a great business decision. Barry Windham came out for no reason to eliminate Chains. Chains was partnered with Bradshaw. Bradshaw and Windham, I guess they recently split as the Blackjacks.
Yeah, that's why he turned on him.
Wouldn't he eliminate Bradshaw?
Well, if he eliminates Chains, it makes it better, I guess.
And how's he teaming with Chains?
I don't know.
Okay. Jim Cornette's Midnight Express was also there. That's Bodacious Bart and Bombastic Bob.
Awesome name, the Midnight Express. I like that name. Quite the surprise that the Midnight Express was Bart Gunn and Bob Holly. I was taken aback by that.
It makes sense because it seems like this is something that they just came up with and they just picked 2 people to do it, that they didn't have anything else to do. Because if I remember correctly, they didn't really do anything. They revived some NWA belts, but they didn't do shit with them.
Yeah. It's weird that Bart Gunn is already in this tag team because we have the New Age Outlaws already. So the Smoking Guns have already come and gone.
Yep.
So we never even saw them on... Or have we? No, we haven't seen them.
I thought we did. I thought they were in a multi-man match. Well, obviously a multi-man match, but you know,
weren't those the Blackjacks? Those are the Blackjacks.
No, that was last year. I thought we saw them before that.
Okay, maybe I'm misremembering.
No, I could be too.
As the only Smoking Guns I remember is the one where Sunny was walking around in her halter top thing.
Yeah, Sunny was part of the match.
Yeah.
Mark Henry and Brian Christopher were there. Henry was in the match well after his partner was eliminated. So he's just in there tossing fools out. And the Godwins are wearing Confederate t-shirts, which must mean that they're heels now. And LOD finally won after eliminating the Midnight Express. The Godwins attacked the Road Warriors on the way out with their slop buckets, but the Road Warriors were able to overcome the odds. LOD will face the tag team champions at the next pay-per-view. Sonny was the best part.
Indeed.
Up next is Ross and Lawler. They talk about the WrestleMania media tour. DX and Mike Tyson got the best of Austin during a public workout. Michaels and Tyson kissed Austin's head. He didn't look too happy about it. Then Austin was on Regis and Kathy Lee. He let Regis rub his head. And then Flash Funk did something with a child. He was cool.
With his ponytail.
Yeah.
His perm. That was Too Cold Scorpio too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of my favorites. Mark Marrow also got to watch Sable sign autographs. The next match is Aguila versus Taka Michinoku. It's for the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship. And Aguila is S.A. Rios. And he didn't even get an entrance. So you know he's going to lose. And indeed he did. Taka won with a Michinoku driver. I thought this was night and day from the cruiserweights. Kind of seemed like they were a little bit more clumsy and it wasn't as fluid.
I don't know. What was his name? Arugula?
Aguila.
Yeah. I was like, first of all, it's a WrestleMania and we got Arugula here. But yeah, he was pretty impressive. And Takamiki Nochu, golly, I tried.
And failed.
He's always good, so.
Yeah, I got into it when he did the Michinoku driver signal. Like, okay. I don't know. It was just kind of slow and sluggish. It's hard to put my finger on. Jennifer Flowers interviewed The Rock. In case you don't know, Jennifer Flowers is most notable for fucking Bill Clinton. Or at least that's what he admitted to under oath.
Well, I guess he didn't fuck Lewinsky. He just,
Well, he admitted to having an inappropriate relationship with Lewinsky. And I think he admitted to her sucking his dick. I don't know if he copped up to full coitus.
Then this Jennifer Flowers, he did her. If I remember correctly, Lewinsky wasn't that bad.
Lewinsky was okay. His track record isn't very good, though. I was kind of looking at the ladies that have accused him. He does not have a good preference. Maybe his strategy is getting the kind of homely girls. If they say that they fucked the president or whatever, like, who's going to believe this ugly bitch? Maybe that's genius.
Yeah, that would be one way to go about it.
Think about it. Let's say Prince. Let's say if he just fucked fat bitches and didn't say anything about it. But then you'd have a fat bitch say, I fucked Prince last night. Oh, come on, Susan.
Look at you. You're not a two standard.
Flowers appropriately wants to know how The Rock would run things if he was leader of the country. Rock says the title leader is beneath him. He prefers ruler. Flowers asks Rock, as ruler, how he'd help the homeless. Well, Rock says as long as he has his big house in Miami and the pieces of trash to keep off his lawn, he doesn't give a damn what they do. Then she asks him about the judicial system. Rock says he's the judge and the hung jury, so it's all good. Flowers asks how Rock would run the White House. Rock says the interns better mind their P's and Q's. I have no idea why this exists.
Yeah, it just seems like they were trying to, I don't know, poke fun at the politics stuff.
Yeah, stupid. Triple H wrestled Owen Hart for the European Championship, and Triple H is transitioning away from the Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Like today, it's Paul Triple H Levesque, while it was Triple H Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And Commissioner Sergeant Slaughter is exercising his authority to be handcuffed to Chyna ringside during the match, so she can't interfere. Chyna has improved from the last time we saw her. But Triple H won the European Championship after goading Owen Hart into a match. Chyna just so happened to attack Owen's injured leg, and this would be the rematch for all of that. Chyna gave Slaughter a hell of a time getting into the handcuffs. She even got into his face, refusing to let Slaughter handcuff her, and finally he had to do it while her head was turned.
Yeah, she looked away, and he got her. Not the first time he's done that.
Nope. What the fuck was Owen's theme song?
I don't know. I didn't recognize that theme song.
Terrible, terrible, terrible. Owen got Triple H in a sharpshooter, and Slaughter let Chyna help. Chyna ends up throwing powder into Slaughter's eyes. Owen becomes more concerned about Slaughter than the match. Chyna hits Owen in the dick. Triple H hits the pedigree 1, 2, 3. And Chyna drags the ref out of the ring and demands that he uncuff her from Slaughter. King says that's a good omen for DX. And then Chyna assaults the man who once main evented WrestleMania with Hulk Hogan.
I don't know. It wasn't offensive or anything. I thought it was a pretty good match. Chyna was the most impressive thing, of course. And not even the front of her. Her back was impressive. It almost made me want to go check out the thumb.
Sergeant Slaughter was still a lot bigger than her.
Well, yeah. He is a wrestler and all.
She was tossing him around.
Yeah.
I thought it could have been a good match except the outside shit.
There was a lot of focus on that. Like, oh, is she going to do anything? Oh, she can't.
Which is sad because Triple H and Owen Hart should have a banger of a match.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right. The artist formerly known as Goldust and Luna Vachon faced Sable and Mark Marrow in a mixed tag team match. And this started because Mark Marrow grew jealous of Sable's success, so he fired her and hired Goldust as his valet for some reason. Well, Luna was jealous of Marrow and Goldust, so then they all just decided to team together. But then Luna and Sable couldn't get along, which prompted everybody to just treat Sable like shit. Well, eventually Sable grew a set of balls and started standing up to everybody. She slaps Goldust and shoves Marrow to the ground, and she calls Luna a bitch. And she ends up giving Luna the worst slap I've ever seen in my life. Luna ends up putting the moves on Marrow, which pisses Sable off. Marrow and Goldust get into it when Goldust saves Marrow from Sable clawing his eyes out. Goldust ends up issuing a challenge for a mixed tag match. Vince Russo is actually shown in the video clip.
It sure was.
And boy, has Goldust seen some shit by this point. I don't know what the fuck they've done to him. He's got lingerie on the outside of his ring gear. He's got the black and red face paint. He's got that late 90s, early 2000s white blonde look.
Yeah, the blonde with the
black.
Peeking through. And that silver was not flattering at all.
Mm-mm. And it looked like he was not in the best shape of his life.
That too. And then when he was the valet for Mark Marrow, he was running around in lingerie. Like, they really put him through.
Yes. He's a victim now. So the crowd chants for Sable at one point, so I think they're either really stupid or bored. I thought the whole thing was a goddamn embarrassment. And I'm not surprised at all the Goldust turned to drugs. Sable was awful. She had to grab the ropes to throw a simple kick. Her punches were awful. Marrow called Luna a bitch at one point after she kicked them. Thought that was funny. And it's a very heavy TKO on a very heavy Goldust, which Luna breaks up the pin. Sable tags herself in so she can pin Goldust. Luna tries to break up the pin from the top rope, but Sable moves so she can land on Goldust. Sable powerbombs Luna. For some reason, that wasn't the finish. Sable hits Luna with a TKO for the 1-2-3. TKO was by far the best looking thing that Sable did, which made me think that that was all Luna.
Well, I actually I saw this match completely different than you did.
Okay.
What I wrote down was, first of all, they did the callback. Dusty Rose, I think that was at like WrestleMania 2 or 3. That mixed tag match with Sapphire. Remember that?
Yep.
It was a good callback there, seeing as now Goldust was doing a mixed tag match. The crowd was super hot for Sable. That was the only thing they cared about the whole match. First of all, I didn't remember Sable wrestling, so there was that. But
I remember her wrestling. I remember the evening gown match.
I think they did good with her. Like, she wasn't doing anything over the top. She was doing kicks and punches. Yeah,
she was okay. She was the tiniest one in there, and she's fucking socking Goldust. She's pushing Mark Marrow around. She's manhandling Luna. You kidding me? She's fucking running around like she's the ultimate warrior, and she's got no definition. She's not athletic. She didn't look like she belonged.
But she was pissed off. You overlooked that fact.
I didn't even believe she was pissed off. Looked like she was trying to pretend to be pissed off. Goldust wrestled the goddamn Undertaker. What the fuck is he getting laid out by this little blonde for? It's not even China. It's offensive.
There you go.
Colonel Robert Parker introduced Jeff Jarrett and Jennifer Flowers. Parker goes by Tennessee Lee in the WWF. He's Colonel Robert Parker to me. Jarrett and Flowers get in the ring. Jarrett asks Flowers if he's great. She says yes, and he's pretty. Then the Nation of Domination's music interrupts. This is another piece of WrestleMania history that I don't know why exists.
Yeah, why that whole segment happened?
Yeah. This was more useless than the other Jennifer Flowers. I think anything with Jennifer Flowers going forward should probably just be skipped. And that moves us to Rock and Ken Shamrock for the Intercontinental title. And if The Rock is DQ'd, he does not win the belt. To set up the match, I guess Shamrock asked The Rock to hit him with a chair. The Rock also hit Farouk with a chair.
Yep, all those unprotected chair shots.
Yep. It was funny, too, because Shamrock just got on his knees. Hit me, hit me. And he did.
Yeah.
And he just crumpled. Like, good strategy there, Ken. Like, what was your end game? What other scenario was happening in his head?
That's what I'm saying. It's like those people who talk shit. They're not in a good spot. Like, what are you doing right now? You need to talk shit that bad?
Well, it's not even
Conor
that.
McGregor.
He's not talking shit and then just getting decked out. He's saying, hit me in the face with the chair while I am on my knees, defenseless.
Yeah, because he was being defiant. But yeah, he could have picked a better spot than doing it then.
So this was a good, quick, hard-hitting match. Shamrock was all jacked to hell.
I know, muscles on muscles.
Yeah, he did the gym walk. And I love when he would just scream. Like he'd toss Rock and just go, ah! So Shamrock shoves the ref to the mat and Rock nails him straight in the head with a chair, unprotected. Again, to your point.
Mm-hmm.
Shamrock ends up winning with an ankle lock. Then the Nation of Domination tried to attack Shamrock. Shamrock would try to go back to getting the ankle lock on Rock after he dealt with each member of the Nation. And Farouk comes out, jeans, no shirt. And luckily for Shamrock, he remembers Rock hitting him with the chair and just leaves. So he ran down shirtless just to turn around and walk back. And then Shamrock continues to apply the ankle lock onto the Rock. Officials come out. Finally, Shamrock breaks the hold. Shamrock ends up snapping and suplexing all of the officials. Rock gets stretchered away, bleeding. Eventually, it's announced that the refs reversed their decision. Rock is still the Intercontinental Champion. Naturally, Shamrock responds with grace by chasing down the Rock on his stretcher and beating his ass some more.
Yeah. I remember it was the gimmick that he was like the loose cannon or whatever once he snapped. But yeah, cost himself the match because he just couldn't keep his anger in check. Watching it back, I didn't remember the Rock tapping out so easily. Pretty much no resistance to the tap out.
Well, they were getting over the ankle lock. Shamrock was still brand new.
Yeah, that was the thing. I was like, okay, well, think about it. They're protecting the move. Especially, he got stretchered out because it was on so long.
Yep.
So, made sense there. And yeah, that ankle lock, when you got it on, you're pretty much done data. But yeah, he couldn't keep his thing in check and then cost himself the match. So I do remember that, though.
Yeah, I just remember him belly to belly suplexing everybody.
Yeah, looking jocked.
Mm-hmm. Well, they played an old school commercial explaining how wrestlers are real athletes or something. And we move on to Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack versus the New Age Outlaws. This is for the Tag Team Championship. And this is a dumpster match. The first team to put their opponents in the dumpster and shut the lid wins. And the New Age Outlaws threw Jack and Charlie from the stage in a dumpster the Raw before. And they show Charlie had a seizure when they had the neck braces on and stuff.
And I remember that, of course.
New Age Outlaws come out. Road Dogg says that Jack and Charlie are legends, but when they lose, what does that make the Outlaws? As far as the match, it's pretty much every hardcore furniture match you've seen, just with a dumpster. Jack ends up getting a ladder. He ends up falling off of with Billy Gunn into the dumpster. I'm sure that was fun. Charlie gets powerbombed into the dumpster. The Outlaws and Jack fight to the back. Cactus gets thrown into a giant bottle of Surge. Cactus double arm DDTs Billy Gunn onto a pallet, driven onto a forklift by Charlie, because he's there all of a sudden. I don't know where the fuck he came from. And then Cactus stacks Road Dogg. Charlie drives the forklift to another dumpster, and they dump the Outlaws. Jack closes the dumpster doors. Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack are the new tag team champions.
They are. And I was surprised, too, that Charlie showed up as he took that powerbomb into the dumpster. I thought he was done with the match.
Right.
Like, well, we ain't gonna be seeing him again. To jump back a little bit, you said the little commercial where it's like, oh yeah, I was a D1 athlete and all this stuff. During this match too, Jim Ross.
You're saying they know how to fall.
Yeah, there's probably some idiot sitting in his living room saying, oh yeah, but they know how to fall. It's like,
I remember him saying that.
I remember, yeah, he used to say that all the time. Oh, yeah, they know how to fall, right? Because this was a time where they were getting a lot of attention on wrestling. So, I don't know. I guess they were like trying to tell the mainstream people that it's not so fake.
They're athletes too.
Yeah, and you had everybody talking about their credentials. Oh, yeah, I was a D1 athlete. Yeah. And
I used to play a real sport before this.
And I think even the Undertaker said something about being an athlete.
Back on, you either played football or basketball.
Yeah. That combined with the comment, I was like, yeah, I guess for the time, they were just trying to convince people. We got a lot of mainstream attention, so we got to remind people.
Well, up next is Kane versus The Undertaker. Brother versus brother. And this starts out when Paul Bearer reveals that The Undertaker burned his family's funeral home down, killing everybody. Bearer calls The Undertaker a goddamn murderer. You goddamn murderer! Bearer reveals to Taker that not only is his brother Kane still alive, he's the one that told Bearer what happened. And he's coming. Undertaker will burn in hell! He'll burn in hell! Kane finally shows up. It's during a Hell in the Cell match. He rips off the door and attacks Undertaker. He ends up tombstoning him. And then Bearer vows to use his instrument of destruction, Kane, on everybody until Undertaker agrees to a match. Undertaker, of course, says he will never fight his own flesh and blood. Sounds kind of familiar. Kane, of course, keeps provoking The Undertaker until one night on Raw, Kane is outnumbered and overmatched. I think it's DX. And then Taker comes out to help his... Okay, so it's DX. And then Taker comes out to help his brother. There's a cool shot of Taker and Kane beating the fuck out of everybody in the ring, kind of fighting back to back. When it's all said and done, Kane extends his hand while The Undertaker does his little kneel thing. And it looks like the family is reunited. But it turns out to be a ruse. Because Kane locks The Undertaker inside a casket. Then he pours gasoline on the casket. And then Paul Bearer hands him the matches. And Kane and Paul Bearer gesticulate in the direction of the burning casket. And then when the smoke clears, they open the casket, and it's revealed that The Undertaker is no longer in there. Where did he go? Then one Raw, lightning strikes, and up rises The Undertaker, who promises that he will be taking Kane to hell. Bearer tells Undertaker that he is no longer the Phenom, and to demonstrate this, he has Kane rain hellfire upon him, which Undertaker marches right through, and he declares that he will walk through the fires of hell to fight Kane. Kane then terrorizes the WWF with his lightning, even setting a dude on fire, while The Undertaker uses his lightning to set ablaze a casket with a dummy of Kane resting in it. Undertaker's walking into the inferno to make his brother rest in peace.
One of the rivalries we'll have to go back and watch because this video package sold me on it. Just week to week what they were doing. I remember most or a lot of it, but yeah, the video package sold me on it.
I especially remember the Lightning War.
There's that. When they were doing the video package, Kane appears, who had the best debut in WWE history, ripping off the cage of the Hell in the Cell door. And then, yeah, the weeks he was provoking The Undertaker by attacking everybody. I just remember that, like, his music would go off, and it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, oh shit.
Didn't matter who was in the ring, they were about to get it.
It was almost like it was extra loud, too. That organ.
Yeah. I remember I went to a live show. From where I was sitting, I still felt like the heat of that pyro when those flames went off. It was just something that's, like, always stuck with me. It's like,
yeah, he was awesome. Then they took his mask off.
Yeah, early Kane was just, I don't know. You wouldn't find a better debuting thing than that.
Right.
The debut and then the booking afterwards.
Definitely one of the best. And certainly, I would think it's the best rivalry The Undertaker had.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, then we get to the match.
Pete Rose is introduced, so he can introduce the Wrestlers. He was a baseball player.
Who got kicked out of baseball for gambling.
He's booed. Which, almost.
Ironically, is now illegal in baseball.
Is it? It's funny. Is he still not in the Hall of Fame?
Not yet.
Okay. It's funny. Pete Rose is immediately booed. He tells the crowd the last time he was there, his team kicked their team's ass, and that Boston will never win a World Series. Rose then references some other baseball players. I'm sure if I was a baseball fan, I'd be properly irate. Rose then calls Boston the city of losers. Kane comes out. He tombstones Pete Rose. It was kind of cool because you could see fans running to catch Kane's entrance.
Pete Rose didn't know what the hell was going on. It's like, oh, you don't want to be in the ring. And it's part of a running thing that's going to be happening.
I guess it's better than Bob Uecker.
Yeah.
So Rose gets stretchered out. To be fair, he's probably the best seller of the tombstone because that motherfucker was out and he didn't move. I think he was stretchered out face first.
I don't remember. I just remember Undertaker conveniently coming out like right after. Like he let that happen, but then he comes out.
Sure did. And this is the best Undertaker entrance so far. Nothing super fancy. Some dudes in robes, some epic classical music. They're holding torches. It's the visual. And Taker has moved away from his gray purple tie glove attire. He looks more like a Prince of Darkness.
Yep, this is Teardrop Taker now.
And the two 7-foot monsters finally come face to face and immediately go to blows. Kane is actually just a hair taller than the Undertaker. And Kane takes control and they fight to the ring. Bearer distracts the referee so Kane can use the steel steps on Taker, even though the referee clearly heard the steps, and when he turned around, they were right by his feet. And
I thought he got hit by one of the steps.
He may have.
Yeah, he kind of like jerked like he got hit by like it rolled up on his ankle.
But you see the steel steps, you see the Undertaker crumpled. I was confused. Some virgin gives Bearer the finger with a foam hand. Hey, Paul.
Oh, those blue foam fingers?
Yeah, I wanted to slap him.
I said, look at this geek.
Yeah. Bearer gets cheap shots in on the Undertaker while he's in a weakened state. And then he says, yes, yes, yes. Taker does his diving clothesline to Kane to the outside, but Kane moves. Then Taker crashes in the announce desk. And it was awesome. Kane starts beating the Undertaker with pieces of the desk, which was awesome too. Taker goes for a tombstone. It's reversed by Kane, and he hits his brother with his own move. But Taker kicks out. Taker finally gets his brother off his feet, and he hits a monster choke slam. And Bearer says to Taker, damn you to hell, dead man! But then Kane sits up, and then the retarded cameramen completely missed the moment, so it wasn't like as impactful as it could have been. Doesn't matter though, because Taker immediately hits Kane with a tombstone. But Kane kicks out. So allegedly nobody's kicked out of the tombstone up to this point. I'm too lazy to fact check, so I'll just take their word for it.
Well, it hadn't happened at WrestleMania, so there's at least that.
Taker hits a monster leg drop to Kane. He sits up. Probably not as big of a reaction after the choke slam set up.
I will say, if Kane was the first person to kick out of the tombstone, Undertaker didn't sell that at all.
No.
You would have thought he kicked out of a DDT. But maybe it's just like, okay, well, he kicked out. I got to keep moving. I'm the dead man. I don't show emotions. I just keep going.
Well, Taker hits Kane with another tombstone, and Kane kicks out again. So not only has no one kicked out of the tombstone before, Kane has done it twice in the same match.
Because he's the monster.
Kane sits up. Undertaker then hits him with a top rope clothesline. Kane sits up again. Then Taker hits him with a third tombstone. 1, 2, 3. And after the match, Paul Bearer grabs a chair, shoves down the ref, and starts putting the boots down to Undertaker. Undertaker managed to deck Big Paul Bearer with one last ounce of strength. Then Kane starts assaulting the Undertaker with a chair. Kane then tombstones Taker onto the chair. Ross said the Undertaker's skull just bounced off the chair like a basketball off the parquet on the Fleet Center. Undertaker's left laying in the middle of the ring. Bearer spits on Taker as they leave. The ref tends to Taker, and then all of a sudden, Taker sits up. But he ain't giving chase because he's all wobbly as fuck. I mean, he did get tombstone on a chair. Taker manages to wobbly make his way back under his own 2 feet, though. Definitely the best Taker Mania match to date, and I wish they did more than just have Kane sit up to transition into tombstones. I wish they kind of meant something.
Yeah.
Like Kane would sit up and then Taker would hit him with a choke slam and a tombstone. Kane would sit up again. Taker would hit him with a leg drop and a tombstone. There wasn't like a whole lot of suspense. If you sat up, what does that mean? Undertaker doesn't seem to be in too much jeopardy from that.
Because he's not done. He's still got more in the tank, I guess. But not enough to fight back.
You just got enough to take it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to take another one. Thank God for this match, too, because this WrestleMania was sucking up to this point.
I don't know. I enjoyed it so far. It was a little attitude-y, if you will. Every match had, like, attitude to it. Hardcore or Sable just being pissed off. Oh, by the way, I never pointed out, when Triple H came out, they had the live music, but they didn't have any words to it. It was weird.
Well, thankfully, it was just the one time.
Well, Shawn Michaels had the live music too. So if they were going to sing for Shawn, why didn't they sing for Triple H?
He's not the world champion.
I guess they only got paid for one.
Apparently. Well, after that, they had a neat little video package. It featured Classy Freddie Blassie, Ernie Ladd, and Gorilla Monsoon. Basically, the gist is the previous generations were remarking on how they never had pyro or fancy stadiums and how they never had to climb the top rope and dive over the top rope and do a whole bunch of fancy shit.
Never did a moonsault.
Never did a moonsault. Men of the previous generation claim that they were men of steel, but they concede that today's generation are men without fear. And while the previous generation misses having their names cheered by the fans, today they cheer for today's wrestlers. Kind of depressing.
Well, it's kind of like what we say now. These new guys, they just do the flips and flops. Back then, it was all about the storytelling. So, kind of the same thing now.
Yeah. Well, that finally brings us to Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels. It's for the WWF Championship. And Mike Tyson is the special ringside enforcer. When Tyson was announced as the special enforcer by Vince McMahon, Austin didn't like it at all. He gets into a shoving match with Tyson. It also appears that Michaels doesn't like it either. But then Tyson aligns himself with D-Generation X. From then on out, DX tears shit up with Tyson, who insinuates that he's not going to be a fair enforcer. Like he blatantly says he's not. Tyson sure got into the DX stuff too, like the crotch chops and shit.
He sure did.
Tyson comes out with a DX shirt on and DX music. I will say this might be the least physically impressive I've ever seen Tyson.
I think it was the hair.
The hair, and he wasn't as defined in the arms.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm sure Tyson at his worst is still better than me at my best.
Well, I forget if he was still like an active fighter at that point, but he was probably in the bulk.
I can't remember.
Maybe 3 pay-per-views ago, they were talking about the Holyfield fight. Not the one that he actually bit his ear off, but the first of their fights, which led to the rematch, which led to the bite. So maybe this was all after this. Yeah, if he got kicked out of boxing, it was probably around that time. You bit someone's ear off.
Right.
We can't have you just go, oh, what's the next fight?
You can threaten to eat their children, but when you really do it.
Yeah. We can't have you do that now.
So Austin appears, and they film him walking from the locker room, Goldberg. Yep. And Austin hits the ring and immediately gets in Tyson's face. And you can see Tyson call him a motherfucker at least once. And Michaels gets the same walking from the locker room entrance thing. Triple H gives the camera the bird. Real executive of you, Hunter. Then the DX band plays. The lead singer is wearing this big, stupid backwards hat that looks like it's a woman's cabbie. He's got a blazer. He's got a DX shirt. He's got the old school Adidas pants with the 3 white stripes. Looks like he's done all sorts of drugs. Thankfully, they got away from this piece of shit band with no stage presence so that Michaels can do his entrance. And I like how they kept cutting the Titantron video and with the live feed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is worth noting. This is after Owen fucked up Austin's neck. That was SummerSlam. And then this is also when Shawn fucked up his back in a Royal Rumble match against Undertaker. So they're both not at 100%. And at this time, Michaels is the only one to have won all of WWF's titles. So he's pretty decorated. And it starts off with Austin giving Michaels the finger. Then Michaels gives Austin little rabbit punches while running away. Triple H got involved early. And he got backed into Tyson by the referee, and they did the tease where Triple H was going to take a swing at Tyson, but saw him just in time. But then Triple H and Chyna are booted from ringside very early. So I guess this means we don't need the enforcer anymore, right?
I guess. Yeah, I guess so.
For some reason, Austin attacked Triple H while he was leaving, giving Michaels an opening. Shawn gets sent face first into the announce desk, leaving Ross and Lawler with only one monitor. And I don't know if it was Shawn selling or if his back was really bothering him. Either way, you can tell. And he was doing a fantastic job either way.
Yeah, I didn't know either. I was also thinking that. It's like, I know he had to, semi-retire for a back injury. And I know it was around this time.
It's after this match.
Okay. But yeah, I didn't know if he was selling it. But if it was after that match, then yeah, it makes sense.
Just how he would lean on the ropes and how he'd almost crumple doing everything.
Grimacing in pain.
He'd have to you could just see him stop and just say, this fucking sucks. What am I doing?
Yeah.
He was great. The crowd starts chanting Holyfield at Tyson, and the commentators pretend to not know what they're saying. They start
Well, I
chanting
didn't know what they were
Holyfield,
saying
and
at all either. I'm like, what are they saying?
that's what it sounded like to me. I could be wrong. Lawler's like, what are they saying? And Russ is like, I don't know. Michael starts targeting Austin's injured knee, fucked it up on the ring post. Very brutal. And Michaels does a baseball slide to Austin on the outside, and Tyson starts crotch chopping the announce desk. And Tyson snatches Austin and throws him into the ring, and he legit threw him. So he gave Austin the biggest wedgie ever. I had a thought, because this is after the Montreal screw job.
Mm-hmm.
What if Michaels stole the sharpshooter and started using it, and he called it the Heartbreaker?
Well, did he have a good sharpshooter?
Does it matter if he had a good one?
Well, it can't be crazy looking.
A referee, Mike Chioda, gets sandwiched in the turnbuckles by Austin and Michaels. Michaels does a kip up. Dumb fuck cameramen missed that too. Michaels hits his big elbow drop on Austin, then goes to tune up the band. Austin catches the sweet chin music. He goes for a stunner, but Michaels escapes and whips Austin into the ropes. He goes for another super kick. Austin catches the second kick and nails the stunner. Tyson gives Austin the fastest count in wrestling history, and Austin is our new champion. And Stone Cold poses with the belt, then stops everything. Music stops and everything. He grabs a t-shirt. He tosses it to Tyson. Tyson holds it up, and it's an Austin 316 shirt, and everybody's cheering. Austin's holding it up his arms in celebration. Is he going to put it on? What's he going to do? All of a sudden, Shawn Michaels regains consciousness and snatches the shirt away from Tyson. He says, Michael, I thought you were with me. Then Michaels and Tyson start into a heated conversation, shoving a little bit. Shawn's poking Tyson's chest. Shawn then tosses the Austin shirt outside the ring. He goes and he tries to sucker punch Tyson. Now, I couldn't tell if Tyson blocked the punch or just absorbed it like a freak. Either way, I would believe both. It's just so fast, and it's a weird angle. I could see Tyson just taking it. That's all you got, bitch? This ain't wrestling anymore. Tyson then proceeds to knock Shawn Michaels the fuck out, and then he raises Austin's hand and drapes the Stone Cold shirt over Shawn Michaels' unconscious body. Then Mike Tyson gives everyone the finger, because why not? And WrestleMania ends with confetti and Austin 316 times. And the last two matches really saved this pay-per-view for me.
I liked everything about the match. At the beginning, when Austin came out, it was so loud. I heard the glass shattered, but I didn't hear the music. This is the later Austin theme. All that was missing was the beers, but I'm sure that's coming later. Is Mr. McMahon a character yet?
I don't think quite yet.
I thought he was. I remember that he was.
He's Vince McMahon, but I don't think he's Mr. McMahon, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. But yeah, this is the coronation of Austin 316. Pretty all over the place.
Yeah. And this was heralded as the changing of the guard in the WWF. Now, if you think about it, we had 9 years of Hogan, and it's been kind of tumultuous between Hart, Shawn Michaels, Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
And now we get another changing of the guard with Austin. And Shawn Michaels, who was the major superstar of the company for many years, took a 4-year hiatus from wrestling due to his severe back injury. And he made several appearances as a commentator during Raw, and he eventually replaced Slaughter as the commissioner. He had what was supposed to be a one-time match at SummerSlam. It was reinstated after he realized that his injuries weren't as bad as he thought. And he made a full-time return to wrestling, but 12 years later. So we're not going to see Shawn for a while.
Yeah.
Stone Cold winning meant the Attitude Era was fully ushered in. Scratch logo started to replace the New Generation logo. They put it on ring aprons and shit too. Next night on Raw, the old WWF Winged Eagle belt was retired, and Austin got the Globe belt.
Okay.
Attitude Era saw Austin feud with Mr. McMahon. Which I think that happens 2 weeks later after this. So it's coming. And this also marked when Raw finally beat Nitro in the ratings war.
Never to go back, huh?
Never after to go back.
It seems WCW's in their like full stride. So it's odd that they got beat.
Well, we'll have to see why they got beat.
Yeah, that's true.
We haven't seen Sold Out yet.
That's true.
Triple H criticized Shawn Michaels the following Raw, blamed him for overlooking Tyson's potential double cross. And I remember the promo. He's like, "You dropped the ball, Shawn." And he said he would now be the leader of Degeneration X. He wanted to turn it into an army. First thing you need to do is turn to your blood, look to your buddies, look to your friends. You look to the Clique. And that's when X-Pac comes. So once Six leaves, I think that's the downfall of WCW. So we just need to watch out for that.
All right.
Master Six leaving. Later in the evening, it's revealed that Road Dogg and Billy Gunn also joined the DX Army. And I think it's sad that we don't really get to see the original DX.
We got the new one, I guess. Yeah, it was weaker when Shawn left, but seeing as what you said, he kind of had to leave.
They did cooler stuff when they were a group, but just the magic of Hunter and Shawn was never duplicated.
Yeah, it just wasn't the same.
The Undertaker and Kane continued their feud. Paul Bearer challenged Undertaker to a match at Unforgiven, where the ring would be surrounded by fire, and the first man to be set alight would lose, thus giving birth to the Inferno match.
They don't do those anymore. But I remember Kane coming out with both sleeves on. It's like, oh, I wonder who's... I wonder, huh?
The Rock promised to show Farouk the nation was stronger and more connected than ever before in a tag match against Ken Shamrock and Steve Blackman. Of course, The Rock broke his promise and left Farouk to suffer the wrath of Shamrock and Blackman all by himself. Afterward, Farouk demanded Rocky come out so they could fight. Rock returned. Then the other members of the nation turned on Farouk. And then Rock proclaimed himself to be the new leader of the Nation of Domination. And Sable challenged Luna Vachon to a evening gown match.
Half of that match doesn't seem like it's pleasant at all.
If I remember correctly, there's not a whole lot of skin that Sable showed.
So she won?
Yeah, oh yeah, she won. I don't know why. Of all the matches you have her lose.
Yeah. What are we thinking here?
But WrestleMania 15 is our next WWF pay-per-view. And I forget what the main event is. Shit. Austin and The Rock, I think?
Yeah, I think so. The first of their... I think they did the back-to-back. And then we're getting close to Icon versus Icon, that being The Rock versus Hogan. I think 18 was one of my favorite WrestleManias.
Well, we're getting there. But first, we have WCW Sold Out. This is the inaugural Sold Out pay-per-view. It took place at the Five Seasons Center in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. It's important. It was presented by the NWO and Storyline. It was an NWO-themed pay-per-view with NWO official referee Nick Patrick officiating all of the matches. He was wearing an NWO t-shirt and cap. There's Eric Bischoff and Ted DiBiase were on commentary. So this will be a very different pay-per-view. All matches featured were WCW versus NWO members. We had Hulk Hogan versus The Giant, Outsiders versus the Steiner Brothers, and then Eddie Guerrero versus Master Six. There's others, but that's the best of the bunch.
Well, it should be an interesting watch. But also hit the subscribe and the like button. And if you disagree with anything, let us know in the comments. If you agree with anything, let us know in the comments. And until next time, Top Guys, out.